Hi, I'm Andrea Sanjuan from Business Mirror. My question is for Sir Elvin. You mentioned earlier that you wish to amend the CREATE law to expand incentives. Can you expand on this, and which specific provisions in the CREATE law do you wish to be amended, and which specific amendment do you wish to see in the law?
So this is just our advocacy in relation to House Bill 4206. Um, since, if you are aware, there is the CARS program under EU 182 that provides fixed investment support and production volume support to a tax payment certificate scheme. This is through an executive order, so it is signed by the president only, and it's not go to Congress, and it's not a organic incentives provided by BOI. So if we are to integrate this type of incentives of the cars-like incentives into the CREATE law, where because the CREATE law amended the BUI law, creating the BUI law on the fiscal part only. So CREATE law, fiscal side of BUI, it provided or amended the list or menu of incentives available or provided by BUI and other promotion, industry promotion, investment promotion agencies that can be provided to our investors. So by putting in those cars-like incentives, we can then offer that without going through the process of executive orders, budgeting with the requesting for budget for the tax paying certificates, tax permit certificates, then having to be approved by the FIRB. So by that way, by incorporating that kind of incentives into the CREATE law, BUI on its own can directly provide this type of incentives to our investors, which the participant on the CARS program said are very generous in comparison to the income tax holiday scheme.
Hello. Good morning, gentlemen. For Mr. Alvin, my name is Rafi. Check. Somebody sabotaging our press conference. Sir, since this is a very large show for auto parts, and we know that the Philippines is home to a large market of DIY and car enthusiasts. What new technologies are we expecting from the show?
Yes. All right. To answer your question, very straightforward. We are not trying to replace, but what we are trying to do is to integrate. There will always be a time right you need in order for you to change to the next stage. So example, we have the auto parts, which you are looking at. You have the hybrids. You have the electric vehicle stage. And of course, in future, I mean, hydrogen will comes in. You have more new technology that comes in. So that's number one. Number two, in terms of modification, this is the interesting part. You have electric engines, you have combustible engines, you have hydrogen engines. Which modification? So that is also something that we are always open to look at as well. Last but not least, we mentioned about parts, OEMs. We mentioned about aftermarket as well. What kind of part works, what kind of part don't works. So I cannot give you an answer. Come down to our event.
Thank you. Good morning to the distinguished panel of gentlemen here. I'm Aloy from eLifestyle Manila.
So I'd like to direct my question to the EVA. Since your presence is here, are you stating that you'll be joining the Expo on June? Number one. Number two, under the EVIDA law, there's actually a requirement for charging stations to register and have a permit, which actually is a hindrance for other suppliers and a stumble block to put their own charging stations. Number three, I think the low acceptance rate for EV here in the Philippines because there are some banks who have not yet accepted financing for EV cars. And then another one probably because the waiting time for EV cars is around 2 to 3 months, meaning the supply is very low. And lastly, since you have mentioned about 333 charging stations, if you look at Google Maps, there's only 18. So I was suggesting this before, why don't you integrate or use Google Maps instead of putting up your own map? Because nobody or a very few has more than 2 phones and with data. And I think it's crazy if you drive using Waze or Google Maps and open another app. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'll try to remember all of those questions in that order. So the first ones are participation. So definitely we're very open to participate in the Expo. So there's no formality yet, but we're very open to participate in this Expo. And then I think the next few questions you mentioned, I would say are all part of, we can call them birth pains of transitioning to new technology. So, for example, registration of charging stations, of course, that's needed, but it has to be revised, continuously improved and revised, and the process has to be improved to make it more convenient and easy for businessmen, for investors. So, as of now, actually, they're already working on that. So, I had a meeting with our association president yesterday, and he mentioned to me this exact same problem. So, because right now, you need to register each charging station you will install. You need to have a separate registration. So they're treating it like a separate business, right? So why not allow them, for example, if you're like a big company, you have a network of chargers, just have one registration. So they're already working on that now. I just had a discussion with our president yesterday. And then the other ones, for the application for the map, so very good suggestion. So because that's what we're trying to do now. So because each company installing these charging stations, they have their own app, they have their own mobile app, and you cannot blame them for wanting that because it's a competition also. They're trying to compete with the other companies also providing charging stations. But in the association, we already built a consortium of these companies, and we're trying to integrate all of their information into a single database. And perhaps that's probably the next step. We can probably put this in a public database, so like Google Maps. Yes, maybe.
I already initiated with Google Philippines, so if you need help, just approach me for that.
Yes, thank you very much, Ingmar. So let's be in touch.
And then two more. Probably, I was invited with the Battery Summit last September in Singapore, but I wasn't able to join. I've heard there are new technologies to making battery charging faster and easier, because the problem with the charging stations right now, they're slow chargers. It will take you 5 to 8 hours to charge, and there's only 1 or 2 charging stations in one station. So it doesn't make sense to encourage without the infrastructure. And then last, what would Patra be contributing in terms of what the economy is right now? Will there be good points to help, to build the industry and make it stronger? Thank you.
So maybe to answer the question related to fast charging, so definitely we will continue to see improvements in that aspect. So the Electric Vehicle Association of the Philippines is part of that battery consortium which you mentioned, which was launched last year. But with regards to that, actually, what we have observed in more developed countries like Australia, who's already ahead of us in terms of the electric vehicle transition, 90 to 95% of charging happens at home. So that's the reality. So perhaps these charging stations you see outside, these are just opportunity charging. No? Kumbaga, you don't need to spend 5 hours there. Maybe for fast chargers, just 20 minutes, no? Just to allow you to get what you need, no? In the meantime, because there's also a cost component to it. No? So if you charge at home, it will be cheaper. If you charge outside, it will be more expensive, no? So with regards to fast charging, we don't see it as becoming a hindrance, no, to the transition of electric vehicles. But definitely, we'll continue to see improvements in that aspect.
To give you an idea, sir, I live in a condo. I don't have a charging station, so I cannot bring my car up in the unit to charge it. So it's the same thing with electrical bikes. It's hard to charge it at home because you don't have access for an outlet. So that's why it also makes sense or makes convenience. For example, for me, if I own an EV, I can charge it in the mall while working or something because there's no access to also for. That's why one thing actually we saw Peter in Greenbelt. He was charging his Jaguar in Greenbelt because it makes sense to charge it outside than do it at home.
Yes, thank you for raising that concern, especially for people who are living in condominiums. So I think the provision to have electrical outlets and chargers in structures like condominiums is also part of EVIDA. So we're also working on that. So for example, for new constructions in the future, they will be required to have a provision for this type of requirement for charging.
Well, in my part as the dealer of petroleum-based automobile, we are on the process of wait and see. Are we going to migrate to electrical vehicle? So far, all of our members and officers are all selling the petroleum-based vehicle. Regarding this electric vehicle, as we know now, charging at home is very dangerous. We can see in the social media, while we are sleeping, while we are charging our vehicle, got fire. It's very dangerous. I think we have to get new technology about this charging. Most of now we have electric vehicle being charged at home, more particularly the two-wheeler or the three-wheeler, and we can see in the social media. Last week I went to Santa Cruz, Laguna, while I am I cannot stop while watching. There's a car got fire. The fire truck are dosing water on it. I think that's a hybrid Camry. It's a new one. That fire totally burned out. I don't know what happened. Because I'm very in a hurry to see my customer in Santa Cruz, Laguna. That customer might close already. So I did not have the time to investigate what happened to the car. There's two fire trucks dosing water, and the car is totally burned down. I think that is a new Camry hybrid car. And yes, we don't have choice. In the future, we have to migrate to electric vehicle. That's the reality. Hopefully, there will be new technology about the battery. I think Motolite is already on it. So, good luck to to our industry. Actually, my business, which I'm in a retail and wholesaler, automotive ATC to Traders Incorporated there in Binondo, we might be affected because our parts are all petroleum based. And if we migrate to electric vehicle, we might be affected. And time is changing. We have to migrate to something else. Thank you.
So just quickly,